Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome back here to Pure Finesse with the host, Jacob Murchison, and the unsolicited scam artist by the way of the bandwagon Central Montreal Canadiens, who seem to be hopping off right now from the way they're playing, Mr. Falco Govius.
Nice intro there. That was great.
I only speak the truth, my friend. Today, we will be getting after the NHL mid-season rankings for all the good stuff there, individually and team-wise. Malcolm, it's halfway through the season. You gotta love what you're seeing.
No,
Got to
not
love what you're
from
seeing.
not from the Toronto Maple Leafs. Hate to see them succeed the way they've been succeeding. Worst organization in all of sports history.
Sure.
I hope to see them lose every single game. Um, yeah, there's so much hatred towards that team for me that I don't even want to talk about them. We'll let you talk about them today. But we're going to talk about a bunch of different teams today, about which teams have been disappointing, just like in the NBA, which teams have been the most surprising, and then who are the clear cut, or who are who's in the race for certain awards like MVP, goalie of the year, coach of the year, whatnot. So we'll get into it by starting off with some of the most surprising teams so far. And I'll start it off. We made this document, maybe 2 weeks ago. So some things have changed a little bit. But at the time, I would say my Montreal Canadiens were surprising a lot of people, turning heads, only losing like one regulation game in about 12 games. And then recently they've been in a slump, firing head coach Claude Julien and assistant coach Kirk Muller.
Kirk Muller.
Firing their goalie coach mid-game. Bergevin saying Carey Price is elite, but still needs some help. If Bergevin doesn't get stuff turned around here, everyone knows that he's going to be fired next. So he's trying to look for ways to improve this team. They've been playing good. Josh Anderson, Tyler Toffoli, some guys who've been stepping in, some offseason acquisitions who've been stepping in, playing good. Jake Allen, who's been playing good as a backup role for Carey Price too. They're still fourth with like 3 games behind the guys in front of them, fourth in their division. So they're still
Just a little behind the Leafs, right? Just a little
just a
bit.
little behind the Leafs, just not that far. So we'll catch up eventually. But for me, I think the Canadians have been a team
Oh.
that people have really not expected to be this good, in my opinion.
I think you're wrong. I think a lot of people probably thought Montreal was going to be in the top 4 of the North Division just because of how well they played the playoffs last year. Carey Price, I think, has had an underwhelming start to his season. I think you can agree with me.
Not the way you've been talking to me in the offseason.
He hasn't had the best season of his you would think Carey Price will be having this year, right? You wouldn't like he's not. If you look at
He's not playing
any
well.
any reasonable or legible goalie stat, Carey Price is not in the top 5 for any of them.
But you say that, but then again, he's still going to be the number 1 goalie at the Olympics in 2022. So
If he's lucky.
I don't know. He's
If
still
he's
there.
lucky.
He's still elite. That's all I have to say. He's still elite.
Okay. But we're gonna talk about some surprising teams that we didn't think that were going to be playing very well this season. And I think number one, I think it should be on everybody's list is the Florida Panthers. That other team in Florida, they are third in the Central Division with a 14-4-4 record, behind some pretty stellar goaltending, not by the name of Sergei Bobrovsky, more of this guy named Chris Dredger, who not a whole lot of people thought was going to be. Not a whole lot of people thought that he was going to be playing a lot of meaningful games for the Panthers this season, and a lot of people have been talking about he might be the next goalie of the Seattle Kraken for next spring. But him and Bobrovsky have actually split the time playing this season. One's making about $700,000 and the other making $10 million. So there's a huge variance right now in the crease for Florida, but they're winning games, so that's why everyone's being quiet right now. And another guy that's kind of surprised and it's kind of taken off is Jonathan Huberdeau. I would say more of the underrated players in all of the NHL right now, and he's getting looks for the Olympic team next season or next year in 2022, and deservingly so. He's talking about playing top 6 on that team, and with 26 points in 22 games, he's been playing some very, very nice hockey and probably one of the best heights of the season with that spin around a backhand pass.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, just a bunch of people on Florida, or a bunch of people are just not recognizing Florida to be one of these top teams right now, and they're proving everybody wrong. Like, they've only lost 4 in regulation, and they're right up there in their division. And I think with the new format and everything this year, they could make a push and maybe go far in the playoffs. So who knows? But yeah, like you said, Huberdeau, he's been kind of underwhelming in a few of the previous seasons, and this year he's starting to pick it up again. He's been one of those guys who has really looked at it when he was in juniors, right? He was really a lot of potential there, and he's starting to pick it up again. So I'm really happy for the Florida Panthers and especially Huberdeau to pick it up again.
Shout out Warda Ontario's Carter Verhaeghe, 60 points in 22 games. 8 points, 8 goals, 8 assists off the Stanley Cup championship team. Big ups to the kid. Next, New York Islanders. They're second right now in the East Division, which I didn't think that was actually possible for the New York Islanders to be with all the teams in that division. With a 13-6-4 record. They've been playing very good hockey, Barry Trotz style hockey. Not very exciting to watch, but they get the job done with getting the W's. I've already said it, but aren't you shocked that they're in the top 3 of this division?
No, because do you not remember the episode with me, you, and Mateus? We were telling who's going to be top in this division, and I was saying the New York Islanders. I've been telling you guys, the Islanders are a good team. They have Anders Lee, who's the leading goal scorer, JG Pajot, who's been playing great for them, Matt Barzal, who's been playing great for them, Josh Bailey's been playing great for them, Nick Leddy is stepping up, getting 14 assists so far. They've had a lot of good players, and it's a good team game they're playing. And like you said, Trotz is a great coach, so he knows how to put this team in order. And then he's got Varlamov there, who's not he's not a bad goalie at all. So they're still getting wins. They're second in this division. I wouldn't be surprised if they finish first. But there's some tough competition still in this division, like the Flyers and the Capitals. So they got to win a lot more games to really prove that they can win this division.
Yeah, they're tied with Washington with points, so they're really essentially they are first in the East Division, but by way of the games being played, it's Washington that's first right now. But yeah, New York doesn't really have the flashy superstar like a ton of these teams have in this East Division. Because Matt Barzal, I would say, is one of the underrated players. He's going to be the 13th forward Canada's 2022 Olympic team. Just gross. To say how stacked that's going to be. It's going to be a fun thing to watch. But New York, they surprised a lot of people last year at the run they made in the playoffs last year. So I guess maybe we shouldn't be so surprised that they're in the top half of the best, right now, one of the best divisions in the NHL with how much star power is here. I think the West right now is I don't think the Eastern Conference, we'll say from last year, has really been far and above way better than the West so far.
I think so,
or if you want to say the West, because it's all mismatched right now with the Central and the East. So there's a couple of teams in the West that are in the Central. So you want to take it for what it's worth. But the team that moved into the Central that's playing in that division right now, that's playing very well for what we thought that they probably weren't going to be, was the Chicago Blackhawks.
Yeah.
Today we just found out Brent Seabrook has retired.
Out of here.
Yeah, he's one of the core players that's been there forever. Like you want to talk like the great teams of the 2010s, Jonathan Toews, Patty Kane, Seabrook, Keith, Patty Sharp. That's what I was thinking of. Patty Sharp.
Corey Crawford.
So there's not much of those guys left in the league. If you want to, like Toews, Kane, and Keith, they're really the only 3 that are left from that dynasty. Because there's really not going to be a dynasty that we've seen in the 80s and 90s. Because you got to take that for what it's worth. Because I don't think we're going to be seeing 3 cups in 5 years in a very long time with the NHL is going right now.
No,
but Kane, present day, 2020, 2021 Chicago Blackhawks, 12-7-5. That sit 4th right now in the Central Division. So they're making the playoffs as of what it stands. This guy, the goaltender, again, another unknown, has been playing very well for them. Kevin Lankinen, if I'm saying that name correctly. He's played pretty well. I mean, he's 9-3, 9-3-4, with a save percentage just above 925. So, I mean, he's playing pretty good hockey. Again, another unknown goalie.
Yeah, another unknown goalie, and he's been playing great. He has like that one shutout already this year, and then he has a good backup with him in Malcolm Subban. Him still kind of trying to prove himself because he was with Vegas, and with all those injuries Vegas had last year, he became a starter and really won a few games. And when it was like, wow, Malcolm Subban, should he start somewhere else? Came to Chicago. I think he was kind of expecting to be starter, but Lankinen's been playing great. So why switch it when he's playing hot right now? I don't see why you would ever do that. One guy who's been extremely hot, it's kind of not a lot of people are really talking about this, is Patty Kane, and he has 35 points this season, right? And I don't see a lot of people really mentioning his name. He's been one of those guys, like you said, early 2010s. You'd hear about Patty Kane every day because of how great he is. Today, when I'm talking hockey, I don't hear a lot of people mentioning his name, and I think a lot more people should. I've never been a huge fan of Patrick Kane, but I just don't. He's American Blackhawks. I just didn't like the whole super dynamo teams. So I wasn't a fan of a bunch of like those teams that won 3-5, like the Kings and whatnot. But Kane's been playing great this year, and I think he deserves the recognition that not a lot of people are giving him.
Patty Kane has got to be one of the biggest weapons in all of the NHL.
100%.
I mean, you talk about the flow, you talk about the suave, and you talk about the swag. That personifies Kaner. But he's got 35 points in 24 games. He got this was 400th career NHL
Yeah.
goal, which only 100 players in the NHL ever had 400 goals in their career. But if we were living south of the border, I think a lot of people would be talking about Patrick Kane rather than up here where it's, oh my God, Scotia North Division. Oh, that's all they talk about up here. There's really no other talking about American teams. But Patty Kane is right up there in the point totals. He should be getting Hart Trophy conversation looks. And if the Blackhawks make it to the playoffs, I think it's going to be on the sole shoulders of Patty Kane. Dominic Kubalik, who was up for the Calder last year, has continued to play very well. He's got 18 points in 24 games, 8 goals. And boy, from the Erie Otters, number 12, Mr. Alex DeBrincat, I think is probably taller. I think I may be taller than Alex DeBrincat, so it gives me hope to go play in the show one day. He's leading the Blackhawks with goals with 12, and he's got 26 points in 20 games. So they figured out a way to mesh their young studs with the seasoned vets there in Chicago very well.
They've done a great job so far.
The last team we're going to talk about there on surprising teams note is the St. Louis Blues, who are second in the West Division. Again, probably another stacked division there with how many firepower teams there is there. They're 13-8-2. That we've said they are second in the West Division. Jordan Binnington, man, I think he's getting a reputation as a bit of a hothead.
Yeah, I know. He's been, what was it, against the Sharks, was it? Yeah, and he was just going after everybody. He was going after people on the bench. He was going after people on the ice. He was going after the other goalie, and then the refs had to force him off the ice. That was funny to see, kind of like a Tuukka Rask type moment. Remember him being a hothead a couple times. So I don't know what's gone in him lately. The team they've been playing good recently. They've won 3 in a row, right? So I think it was just that one game he got pulled. Didn't like they got pulled when it was only 4-3. Probably just got his emotions got the better of him. So you hate to see it. He's been playing okay this season, like posting like a 9-10 save percentage and just above 2.5 goals against average. I think 2.6. So he's been playing mediocre for what he's supposed to be playing, I think, on this St. Louis Blues team. But the rest of the team has been able to back him up. A lot of these players, it's not like there's one guy who's above and beyond getting every single point for this team, right? You have David Perron, you have Braden Shen, Ryan O'Reilly, Jordan Kyrou, the young stud.
I was about to say, Jordan Kyrou, if you ever World Junior Hockey, he was supposed to be an absolute stud of a player. He's second on the team in points.
Exactly. He's second. Mike Hoffman coming in, he's playing decent for the team too, and Torrey Krug. So they're getting all these guys who coming in, and everyone's playing well together. So I don't see why Binnington's so hot. It's like he was so hot that game. I don't understand.
I don't think a whole lot of people gave the Blues a whole lot of credit coming into this year after losing Alex Pietrangelo to free agency.
Yeah.
I don't think one player can make a huge difference like in the NHL rather than the NBA. And it's not like they signed some bum. They signed Torrey Krug. So,
exactly.
I mean, he's a pretty good hockey player in his own right. So, and the depth's there, man. Like they have 12 players who've got more than 10 points this season. So it's all around scoring for the St. Louis Blues, and it's not just one player doing the dirty work.